Well, the African Union will be sending a special envoy to Sierra Leone to get first-hand information on the impact of these deadly mudslides that have killed over 500 people. The DRC has also lost more people to a similar disaster. Well, Ebba Kalondo is the spokesperson of the AU Commission Chair. She joins us on the line from Addis Ababa. Good afternoon, Ebba. Thank you for your time on the SABC News Desk. Give us a sense of the AU intervention we'll be seeing this week.
I mean, the AU intervention does not start this week. In fact, it started at the beginning of when the casualties of the mudslide in Sierra Leone became apparent. And this is in view of the AU's past experience in Sierra Leone during the 2014-2015 Ebola crisis, which is, as you know, the worst in living memory. And then we had sent 80 health workers from across the continent to help with a then response to Ebola. And this is just a continuation of that commitment. What we did, of course, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, immediately wrote to the president of Sierra Leone, and afterwards, very quickly, we were able to have a peace and security meeting here at the AU with member states in terms of how member states could support, like they did during the Ebola crisis in Sierra Leone.
Ebba, the AU Commission Chairperson, Faki Mahamat, you just told us, we heard him make that earnest appeal to Africans on the continent, the diaspora, in fact, international partners as well, for support. A week after the disaster, Ebba, how robust a response are we seeing so far?
I think one needs to be able to credit Sierra Leone in terms of the capacity they already have to be able to respond to a disaster like this. What the Ebola response did do is also create a capacity not only to respond, but also in terms of human resources to be able to have a robust national coordination response point, which is already in the country and which is really coordinating the response of all partners, national, international, and regional. So this is very much a nationally led response, which is exactly what you need from a member state to be able to have that capacity. It's tragedy that brought this upon Sierra Leone to have this type of capacity, but it's definitely bearing its fruits. What the African Union has done, has been able, is to put together through a fund that we have for assistance of IDPs, $100,000, just for the initial quick reaction response needs right now in Sierra Leone, which will be taken by the envoy, who is the African Union Commissioner for Social Affairs. She arrives in Freetown tomorrow. There are also vehicles that the African Union will donate to the government, and they are already in Freetown. So basically, not only is it material support, but also the political support, and to be able to facilitate a galvanized regional support to the region, which Nigeria, Ghana, and other neighbors, also like Guinea, was able to give very quickly after the mudslides happened.
Ebba, once the aid is there, the $100,000, the vehicles, etc., what does the AU do from its side to ensure that this support reaches those who need it the most in a transparent, accountable manner? There were concerns and allegations of a repeat of mismanagement and corruption that we saw in response to the country's Ebola crisis not too long ago.
The Ebola crisis, I didn't hear about the mismanagement in the Ebola crisis. What I can tell you is that the national response, which is a multi-sectoral response together with partners, and these are based on the articulated needs, based on the assessments of the disaster right now. And that money will go into that pot.
Ebba Kalondo,
in terms of response.
Ebba Kalondo, thank you for your time on the line from Addis Ababa. I'm afraid we're out of time now. She's the spokesperson of the AU Commission.